Hi, welcome back to Bohemia. In today's video we're going to look at our new hot water system. Now when we moved into Bohemia, the hot water was not great. In fact, it didn't work at all. There's an old hot water cylinder upstairs and it had an immersion heater on. Didn't work. There was no hot water. We temporarily managed to get it to work just by changing the immersion heater. But the hot water was really low pressure and it didn't supply the shower. There was a separate Myra shower instantaneous heater, which was, to be fair, pathetic. Now, in our old house, we had a proper hot water cylinder and a Stuart Turner Monsoon 3-bar pump. So we are used to having really nice, powerful showers. The only downside of that is when you run the shower, the pump makes a bit of noise. Other than that, it was a great system. We had gravity-fed water from the loft, and we had the pump both hot and cold separately into the shower. It was great. So we're used to power showers. We really wanted a power shower here at Bohemia, so we looked at different ways of achieving that. So if you saw my previous video, you'll know that we now have mains pressure water into the house, no longer have a gravity-fed system, so we had to come up with a new way of supplying the hot water. And we really wanted to get rid of that old Myra wall-mounted instantaneous heater. So what we decided to do in the end is to get a Sunamp. Okay, Sunamp heat battery. I'm going to run through what the Sunamp does, how it works, why we chose it, and give you a little demonstration of the amount of pressure you get at full hot water and cold water into our new shower. So basically we wanted a way of having hot water storage, and we wanted water at mains pressure, or at least borehole pressure in our case, 3 to 4 bar. So this is it down here under the counter here, and really I'm going to put it to the test and see if we can get full mains pressure, 3-4 bar pressure, piping hot water to the shower. So how does this work? Well, it doesn't store hot water, and this is the key thing. It doesn't store hot water, it heats water directly, but what it does do is it stores heat. And inside this, there's a material called a phase change material. And basically, it does heat it up. It heats it up, but as it heats it up, the material inside here changes from a solid to a liquid. And across that phase change, it stores a hell of a lot of heat. A lot more heat than you would get in the equivalent space just heating the water. So, this particular unit is the Sunamp Thermino, 210 EPV, which means it's designed to use with a solar system and a solar diverter. It stores the equivalent amount of 210 litres of piping hot water. So you'd be talking about a storage cylinder sort of this high. We've got it here under the counter, as I said earlier. I did have to raise this countertop up just a little bit to maintain an air gap underneath. You're supposed to have a bigger air gap than we've got all the way around, but it seems to work quite well. Now, the first thing I notice is even when it's fully charged up and it's heated up to its full capacity, the walls of it feel really cool. So there's very little heat escaping. It's very efficient at maintaining the heat. That feels almost cold to the touch, sort of room temperature, even though it's charged up and heated up inside. There's thick insulation, thicker than you would get with a normal hot water cylinder. So in terms of its efficiency, it's really good. You can heat this up overnight using off-peak electricity, the same way you would with a normal cylinder, or you can use solar power or other means to heat it up. This one uses solar. You can get ones which you can indirectly heat using hot water from your heat pump or from your gas boiler, whichever you've got. Yeah, but obviously for our system, we wanted to be super efficient. We wanted to be able to use solar power and off-peak electricity, and that's what we've got. I'll talk on another video about the Eddy solar diverter that you can see behind there. We'll do another video about that, but let's just focus in on the Sunamp. I'm going to show you just what you get on the side. On the side of the Sunamp here, you can see there's a few LEDs. Now, it doesn't give a great amount of information. There's power, and there's a sort of indication there of what state the the heat battery is in, how full it is. Now, I have to say, it's not brilliant. It's a couple of LEDs. One LED starts flashing, then it goes solid, then the other one starts flashing, then it goes solid. And the more often it's flashing, it obviously indicates more power is in the unit. But it's not a great indication, and it's not always accurate. So one thing I would say about this is it's difficult to tell exactly how full it is and when you might need to boost it. But other than that, it's pretty good. It's simple. There's not a lot to go wrong. You just plumb in a inlet and an outlet and an electricity supply. So I'm just going to grab my little camera and we'll just show you some of the plumbing that I've put in to make it work. Not too complicated. Let's just do that now. So first of all, I'll just show you that there's these 4 black circles, and these are actually holes for the inlet and outlet pipes. There's 3 sets of holes on 3 sides of the Sunamp. So depending which way round you want to mount the whole thing, you can have your pipes coming out the back or either side. Now you can see how I've plumbed this in. Basically there's a cold water inlet and there's a hot water outlet. But then you have to have this tempering valve underneath, which I've just mounted there for easy access. And that's because there's no actual temperature thermostat inside the Sunamp. It just comes out really hot. I don't know exactly how hot, I assume about 70 degrees. And you have to have this so you don't have water going too hot into your taps. Yeah, and obviously you can just set this to the temperature that you want as you would your thermostat on your hot water tank. So also we've got the pressure regulating vessel down there, and a little bit of pipe work just going up into the rest of the house. So it's quite simple to connect inlet and outlet and a main supply. And if I just come up here, you can see I've got a little main supply switch, double pole switch next to the eddy. I'll talk more about the eddy in another video. You will need a dedicated supply from your fuse board to your Sunamp. So that's great, and it's very space saving, and it all works really nicely. Now the real test is how much pressure is there at full heat. So let's go into the bathroom and we'll have a look at the power shower, and we'll see how it's working and see what power we get and what pressure we get with that hot water. Also, I want to see what happens if someone flushes a loo or runs a tap while you're taking a shower. We know from experience with combi boilers that that's not always great. We don't want it going cold, do we, halfway through the shower? So I'm in the bathroom, and the first thing I want to do is to give you an idea of what the pressure is like coming out of our taps, yeah, and then we can move over to the shower and see how that works, especially when there's like a tap running or flushing the loo. So the taps, let's just run the cold water tap first, and you'll see how much pressure there is. So you can see there's quite a lot of pressure now. I'm going to run the hot tap. This is obviously coming through the Sunamp, and you should see that there's an equivalent amount of pressure there. I put my hand underneath it. Just takes a few seconds for the water to get through. Oh wow, that is really hot. That's the temperature I set on the ow. That is almost too hot to keep my hand under, and you can see what sort of pressure we're getting on the hot water. So that's brilliant. So that removes any fears I have about the Sunamp being capable of supplying piping hot water at full mains pressure, yeah, or in our case, 3 to 4 bar pressure. So let's just go over to the shower, and then we'll see how that's affected by other things like taps running and so on when the shower is running. So at the moment, until we get our new bathroom built and installed, we've got the old shower over the bath here in the old bathroom of the house, and we've put in a mixer valve. And we've put, I'll just move this screen out of the way so we can get to it. We've put in a basic thermostatic mixer valve down here with a diverter, and we've got an overhead shower, and we've also got a hand shower head as well on the wall at which we can divert. We never use it to fill up the bath. We don't take baths in this house, just showers. Okay, so let's turn it on and we'll see what kind of temperature we can get and what kind of pressure we get from that overhead shower first. So let's hope I don't splash it everywhere. So it's a really nice pressure. I would say, if you can hear me, it's equivalent to our 3 bar power shower that we had before. Oh, it's nice and warm. I've actually got the temperature set to 34 degrees at the moment, but let's just turn that up. I'm going to turn it right up to 42, which is probably hotter than we'd ever want it. And yes, it's hot and it's good pressure. Now, I don't know if you can judge this. I'm going to flush the loo and see if it affects the loo's flushing. It's still, now the pressure's dropped a tiny bit, just a fraction, but it's still pretty powerful. I'm going to turn this off. There we go. So flushing the loo is fine, as we've discovered. There's a limited amount of water that comes out the loo, but what happens if we run a hot tap while the shower's going? Let's try that now. I'm going to turn it back on. I'm going to risk getting wet again, and we'll turn it back on, and then I'll run the hot tap, and we'll just see what happens to the shower. I'm going to put it on a more sensible temperature that we might have in actual daily life, like 35 degrees, something like that, 35, 36 degrees. I'm going to switch it on again. We'll let it run for a couple of seconds, and then I'll switch on the hot tap and we'll see what happens. So we start off with full pressure. That's really good. Now I'm going to pull the hot tap on full. Now the hot tap is on full. The shower is a noticeably lower pressure, but it's maintained its temperature, still nice and warm, and it's still pretty good. So I'm not going to waste any more water. I'm going to turn the tap off. You can probably notice that kicked back in again. And then I'll turn that off. So to sum up, I would say that the Sunamp heat battery has exceeded my expectations. I was a bit cynical that it would be able to supply mains pressure, or even more than mains pressure, like 4 bar pressure at full heat to a shower and a tap at the same time, or having the loo flushed. And I have to say it does. We've got this amazing power shower. We had some visitors the other day and they said it's the best shower they've ever had. Really powerful, nice and hot. And yeah, we found that we can have 3 or 4 quite long showers before the Sunamp empties out, yeah, and then we have to boost it up. But we've got a boost button on the Eddy. We can top it up during the day. We can also use excess solar to keep that topped up as well. And I have to say, I'm really happy with it. So I thoroughly recommend getting the Sunamp. One thing I'll finally say before we finish is that we were originally planning to put it upstairs in direct replacement for the hot water cylinder. That thing weighs 175 kilos. And we just didn't want, between me and my partner Stephen, we didn't want to be lugging it up the stairs. We were having to like get the hoists and machines in to get it up. And we just thought, no, we'll put it in the kitchen. And there it is in the kitchen, and it looks great. It's fine under the counter there, and it works really well. So I think this is great technology, British technology, and I would thoroughly recommend, if you want a replacement for a traditional hot water cylinder, whether you're using solar, whether you've got a heat pump or a gas boiler or anything like that, you can still use the Sunamp. You just have to get the right model. There are different models for different applications, but for us, it works brilliantly, and we are really happy with it. So thumbs up to the Sunamp, the heat battery, and do join us for our next video. We're going to have another video later on of the Eddy solar diverter, which comes from My Energy, of course, and works really nice with the Zappy. We've got the Zappy for charging the car, yeah. So those work really nicely together. So do come back and check out my next video. Please subscribe to the channel. I need more subscribers. Please make sure you watch all the videos because I need more viewers, and that really helps me out. So subscribe, comment below, ask me any questions you like, and I'll be happy to answer them in those comments. So yeah, do take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.